listening to Huyen Vu, who is the Sustainability Manager at Cervera. So the table is yours, Huyen.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much for letting me present our journey towards PFAS-free for Cervera. So I'm going to start here. Let's see. It's okay. So just a brief introduction about Cervera for those who haven't known about us before. We are the Nordic leader of high quality products for home and kitchen products. Our focus is mainly for kitchen cookware. And we were founded in 1987, and we are selling both in Sweden, Norway, and in Finland, both with stores and also with e-commerce. And we have both private label and external brands, mostly dominated by external brands. Our brand, our company is really strongly associated with high quality when it comes to product, competence, and service too. And we have a really high brand recognition from customers. And yeah, so just a short background regarding how we work with PFAS. And I started at Cervera 2 years ago, and I come from the textile and home interior industry, where I've been working together with other Swedish companies to phase out PFAS. We were pushing lots of outdoor industry to phase out it, and mostly both in Sweden and outside of Sweden too. And what I came to realize when I started at Cervera is that compared to the cookware industry, the knowledge and information and research and competence are lacking compared to the textile. Because after working with phasing out PFAS for a long time, I was really surprised with that. We have come further in a journey in the cookware industry, because is it something that customers do know when or have common knowledge about PFAS is usually related to cookware, and second to outdoor and so. And what I also noticed, it's harder to identify PFAS in a food contact material compared to textiles, because you do have in-house testing that can detect fluoropolymers on textiles. And there are also more alternatives and transparency within the textile industry, and that's lacking in the cookware industry. So due to that, we feel that we need to start an industry PFAS phase out, because we don't think that this is something only for Cervera. In order to make a change, we need to drive this together. And how it started, the documentary about Teflon, The Devil We Know, was released, I think it was back in 2018 by SVT, Swedish National Television. And based on that, lots of customers started to ask questions, and they still ask for today. This is one of the frequent asked questions, actually, about chemical content in product. And they always ask, like, how do I know that the product I buy from you are safe to use? And how do you know that it doesn't contain PFOA and PFOS and also PFAS? And this started to make us think about what is the product coating really made of, because we weren't sure about that when we started. So we started with a mapping, and we have a collaboration with a Swedish NGO, SSNC, and together we started with this. This was back in 2019, and 2020 started, and the question we ask ourselves is, which product contains PFAS? Which PFAS are being used? And are the products actually really PFOA and PFAS-free? And are the information that we get from suppliers or business partners really accurate? How can we trust it? And the challenge we receive that it's really hard to see information about the chemical content, because it's always like a business secret. And due to the regulation, chemical factors, they don't need to disclose the content if it's on the 0.1%. So this was really hard for us to, have the information to share to our customers that are well interested in these questions. Back then, there were lacking of test methods to detect PFAS. And how is it tested, and what kind of test method is more accurate to test it? So back then, this was for 2 years, more than 2 years ago, we used a test method called TOP to analyze the product. So together with the NGO, we narrowed down to questions which PFAS are being used during manufacturing of non-stick coatings and might risk to leak into the environment during production. And can PFAS be found on ceramic coatings? And like I said before, there were also a problem to identify all the PFAS and due to lack of transparency, and also due to not having enough with the test method to analyze. So with the top analysis, we selected the 29 PFAS substances, and these were based on the PFAS listed in the candidate list that are substances of very high concern and PFAS with similar characters with those listed. And also we decided to also select on PFAS who breaks down to other problematic PFAS. And together with this NGO, they took a selection of different kind of brands and companies, not only from Cervera, from different companies too, both for testing, and it was both ceramic and Teflon and other non-stick coatings. And of total, it was 12 different kind of pans from different brands and companies that was tested. And based from the results from the analysis, we detected that from the ceramic coating, we found one of these 29 PFAS substances, and also one from the Teflon and 2 from other non-stick. And other non-stick are coatings that we didn't know the name of. We don't know the actual component. Is it like a mixture of fluoropolymers or fluoropolymers with other like ceramic or minerals, or is it non-stick coating with other that we don't know about, And here, as you can see, this is, we found from 2 of these 4 that we detected with this 29 PFAS was part of the coming regulation with the PFOA ban. And the funny thing is that many of these products was labeled with free from PFOA. And this one with ceramic coating, it's with substances that actually breaks down to PFOA, that are also part of the regulation. So after that testing, we came to the conclusion that there are actually problematic PFAS that are being used during the manufacturing and might risk to leak into the environment through production. And we know that they are actually used in the coating, because when we did the analysis, they did the scrapping of the pan from the coating. And that still products that are labeled with PFOA can still contain PFOA. So the difficult for us was to identify if it was intentionally added or just contamination due to, for example, during the manufacturing, And so we come to the conclusion, in order to have clear information, we need to do due diligence to get to the bottom of this results. So after that, we have an internal discussion, and this was in when I started during spring 2020. We talked about what is the next step, what do we want to do. And during this time, I think that the release about the coming PFAS legislation was planning and was about to release soon. So it made us to think that we need to map the entire whole assortment, and also together bring knowledge and awareness to all our stakeholders, customers, suppliers, business partners, just because we feel like this is something that we at Cervera is really passionate about and want to be true to ourselves when we work with these questions. And the first step in order to have work with a PFAS-free assortment was to start with to secure that the latest regulation was applied, which was the POPs regulation. Which was the POPs regulation, and also together with that look into other alternatives. And together to set up a strategy and process to how we were going to work with it, we need to also define our why. Why are we doing this and how are we going to do this? And the why was mostly like we thought that we need to drive this necessary change for a better future. And what I also came to during my work with working with sustainability, that since we work with both external brands and also private label, the customer doesn't see any difference when it comes to private label or external brands. They don't know which one is what. So we thought that in order to do this change, we need to include the external brands too, and give them the awareness and knowledge. And this is also related to us building our company, building our brand, also when it comes to these issues, and also have trace and credibility in our sustainability work. So based on that, we also set up ownership and responsibilities within the buying process. So just want to shortly mention the core when it comes to us working with sustainability. For us and our customers, it's important that the product is safe to use and according to legal compliance before. And after that, we can look into more about sustainable material and circular design. Just in order to not be able to recall products and be certain that this is a product we can stand for. So that meant that we need to have a more holistic approach within the more like the whole angle looking, and just start with like, we need to look into the bigger picture. This is not about Cervera, this is not only about us, this is about the whole. If we want to make a change, because we ourselves stand for like less than 1% of the coatings that are being used. So if we really want to make a change, we need to include this industry and look at the bigger picture. So that's why only private label are not enough for us. And when we're talking about sustainability, PFAS cannot be argued that it can be part of the future due to the social, product safety and compliance, and environment and transparency, and also working conditions. So, because if you just look at, for example, making chemicals and plastic, it stands for 20% of the carbon emissions in the world, compared to steel and textile that does have lots of, they have lots more demands on them. So in our mapping discussion, we start to first to ask for the test report from all brands according to the latest regulation, which is something that has taken lots of time. And also secure that the coating is free from PFAS, just to have based on the latest regulation. And we met with lots of challenge, which were that the regulation are not always implemented, not even 2 years after it came into force, which is something I have experienced from before. So due to us having that discussion, we have bring more awareness and knowledge, because we saw that there are lack of it, and also lacking of testing methods during this time. And we actually, during this mapping, could identify that more coatings were related to the one that we found with PFAS, and due to that, we could eliminate those kind of products. And we also see that there were lots of misleading information related to PFAS-free, PFOA-free. And this is something we don't stand for. So we as a brand have also trying to bring awareness to companies, and also we are working more towards with communication for the customers to understand. And there has also been lacking of test analysis during this time. And what I noticed during this mapping, that test methods made by commercial test institutes are not always accurate for test analysis. due to like they have in-house test methods that are not detected for PFOA, for example, and they have not the right equipment, and maybe it also depends on different kind of levels. So it's really hard to say that something is PFOA free, for instance. And what we also did more after this was that we asking for a test report and also reject products that didn't meet the legal compliant, or that we were 100% sure that this was PFOA free. And this actually led to lots of positive changes of us, standing by our decision to reject products we cannot stand for. And during to this time, more test methods have been developed, and we have been testing according to total organic flour and extractable organic flour for our private label. And we also continue to look for PFAS-free alternatives, and which is what's been really positive with us taking us time to have this discussion and dialogue, is that we have received much more business partners that want to be part of this journey. So what I want to share to others who are willing to do this work is that what's been crucial for us to have this success is that I think that this is something that might be unusual, but at Cervera there are like a common goal. Everyone is on board on this. I have received internal trust from both the CEO and owners, and also have lots of like faith in what we are doing. And like, we need to put pressure, because if we don't put pressure, nothing is going to happen. And we need to also have like actions in case nothing is happening. So us rejecting products have actually received lots of successful results. And also to clarify the responsibilities. So it's not only me who is driving this journey. It's like everyone at Cervera, both from different kind of level are discussing and talking about this and taking ownership. And so I think like really communication and relationship together with everyone is really part of the key for success. So what kind of more insights and results have we achieved? Well, I know that mapping and doing the conduct due diligence take lots of time, lots of resources, but you learn so much about it. You know more about the difficulty with testing. Also what the actual product are containing, for example, because before we didn't know what kind of coating it was, but now we know that there are 5 different kinds of coatings, and all of them can be PFAS can actually be added in them. So that's the knowledge we have received. And also us having discussion with both suppliers, business partner, and manufacturing, and said like, well, look, if you're not going to look into all the PFAS alternatives, we're not going to continue working with you. And that has actually led to results for us to have more options, PFAS-free alternatives. So I think that you need to be true to yourself. And it's like, saying to a kid, you're not allowed to eat candy and still give them candy. So you need to like be firm, like within your strategy and your process in order to like have trust and credibility with what you're doing. And for us, it's really important to have all this information, because based on our customer asking lots of questions, we can transfer this information to our staff in the stores, so they can give better customer service, and that lead also to more sell. And due to that, we also strengthen our brand image as us working with this kind of topics. And for if it depends sell, but we are probably by Q2, our private label will be PFAS-free, except for electronic devices, because there we need to do analyzing the different kind of parts, because it's, and that's something we are going to conduct going forward. I think that's all I have to share.
Thank you very much, Huyen.